Hello and welcome to West Country Wanderings. Welcome to the City of Worcester. I've been here earlier on actually making another video looking at Worcester Shrub Hill railway station in my railway series, but today we're going to be focusing on the architecture. I've looked at doing 10 buildings, 10 Grade 2 star listed buildings here in the City of Worcester. It's quite interesting because in the 50s and 60s a lot of the medieval buildings that were once here in Worcester have been taken out, but some still remain. So that's what we're going to find today. Hopefully 10 buildings. I'll tell you a little bit about each of them, and then I'll also be putting in some subtitles giving you some more information. One of them I think goes back to the 1500s. Oh, by the way, this is of course we're back on Sabrina again. Yes, it's never very far away, is it? So this is the River Severn here, of course, and of course that's the railway bridge over it. So let's have a look at these 10 buildings here in Worcester. On the corner of St Nicholas Street, formerly known as Garden Market, was once Trinity Gate, first recorded in 1540. And it was a gatehouse which linked the industrial suburb of Loweswater down by the canal to the rest of the city centre. It was a postern gate, and it may have been demolished not long after the English Civil War, the Second English Civil War, of course, Battle of Worcester and all of that. Well, this is our first building. It's Worcester's Shire Hall building, no longer used as a Shire Hall. It's just down from Worcester Foregate Street station, and also it's not far from the Art Gallery here in Worcester and the museum, free entry to that. And in front of the Shire Hall you've got Sir Thomas Brock's famous statue of Queen Victoria. Wonderful. This is building number 2. This is Britannia House, which was part of Alice Otley's school, now part of RGS Worcester, a private stroke public school here. And such luminaries as Barbara Cartland, Lewis Carroll and Vanessa Redgrave went here, and indeed Sir Edward Elgar taught violin at the school as well. Amazing building, and loving the Britannia there on the roof of it. Wonderful to see that. Another famous resident here was one Sheila Scott, a pioneering aviator, and she was the first British pilot to flow solo all around the world. A lady here from Worcester that attended Alice Otley's school here. Around here is Britannia Square, that's St Oswald's house there. this is the next building. This is Huntingdon Hall. It's a church built in 1770 and it closed around about 1970, 1971. And then it was restored, and in 1987 it was reopened as a music venue and exhibition space as well. Let's have a bit of a closer look. So here on the left, what was the House of Fraser, it was also a site of Saxon and Roman Worcester here in Crowngate. But there's Huntingdon Hall, it goes back much further than you think. There's the frontage I just showed you just now. And yeah, it comes all this way back here. There's beautiful oval shaped windows. If you come around the other side, that's the main box office and entrance hall into it, but they've also got this additional space here for entrance into the venue here. And some things coming up. We've got a Celtic Christmas, Sunday the 14th of December. Liza Carthy, brilliant folk musician, with John Bowden Wassail. They're doing a tour here, a tribute to Robbie Williams as well. I see that China Crisis, a great Liverpool band, going to be here soon too. Just on the opposite side, I like how they, it's not an old building, but in this development here, Crown Gate, how that's been picked out with musical instruments in the brickwork there to reflect the music in the music venue of Huntingdon Hall opposite. Wonderful. And this is building number 4, and it's St Alban's Church. As in, yes, Hertfordshire, isn't it? The city there, but we're in Hertfordshire, we're in Worcestershire here in the City of Worcester, and it's believed there may have been a church on this site in, wait for this, 720. And I've probably walked by the side of this building before, not really given it a second glance, but you can certainly see that it's very old, but it has been restored in Victorian times. I wonder how old that door is on it. It's now used as the Mags Day Centre. In fact, we're actually pretty close to the cathedral here in Worcester, so it's a bit superfluous to requirements being so very, very close. But what you've got to remember is at one time in this part of Worcester, up until the 1920s, this was very tightly packed with dense slum dwelling all around here. So hundreds, if not thousands of people would have lived in this vicinity, and of course those buildings are no longer here. They're offices now and shops and University of Worcester, but the building still survives, yes. Now this building isn't on my list, but we're in Fish Street, quite not a very well known street in Worcester. I think it's kind of tucked away, but that's certainly probably goes back to 1500s, I would think. 3 stories there, timbered. I can see the highest floor is wider than the lowest floor, as they did in the Tudor days. That's just wonderful. Just make out a ghost sign there. Can't quite read what it says. Just above, just opposite the cathedral. Royal PU, something or other. This is where Sir Edward Elgar lived. We're making our way down college precincts along here to another house. Building number 5. It's 3 Edgar Street, which was constructed, as you can probably make out there, pinnacle there, above the middle window, 1752. If you look at the other buildings that surround it, you can see that they're actually of a newer build. So this one is a survivor here in Edgar Street, but the others were added later. us here on the way to our next building, number 6. This isn't number 6, but this is the Cardinal's Hat, which is Worcester's oldest pub on the corner of Friar Court. And this is building number 6. It's the Tudor House. And this was built in 1575. It later became a school clinic, like a, medical bit for one of the schools here in Worcester. Incredible structure, an incredible survivor as well. The Tudor House is in Friar Street, an amazing street here in Worcester, which is full of old buildings. But this is one of the very best examples, I think. So it survived the wars and also the town planners of the 50s and 60s as well. Just as well it has survived. Now there's a restaurant in there, but also a free museum. So we'll continue along Friar Street and to link up some of the other buildings that we've got here in Worcester. I've just nipped into Marks and Spencer's, had a cup of tea and changed the lens over because the lens, well, not the lens, but the light levels are dropping and this is better in lower light. It's not quite so stable as the other one, but it's making it look less grainy. But along here, and it's Queen Elizabeth House, and it's an amazing survivor from the early 18th century, although it was modified in the, I think, early part of the 19th century, so modifications a couple of hundred years ago, but potentially 300 years old. It's a curious design, isn't it, with that slope on it. Now I don't think that the building that's behind it, which also looks Tudor, is a proper Tudor building. I think it's perhaps Victorian, and it was stylised in the Tudor style, so it fits in to the one that's at the front of the corner here of the Trinity. Now, the building is actually on the opposite side of the road. It's now actually a nightclub known as Bushwhackers. I think it's an Australian-themed nightclub. But the building dates from the 1750s. I think we can go around into Foregate Street to get a better look of it, though. So just off Foregate Street is a little road called the Avenue, and this is the other end of the Bushwhackers next to Lloyd's Bank here. Now you can really appreciate the grandeur of the building from this side. Those pinnacle entrances, 2 towers and the gates there. That's just wonderful. Strange to have it as a nightclub. Now next to, or rather opposite, Wetherspoons here in Broad Street is number 61 Broad Street, which is the pub, the Cocky Anchor. Very old pub here in Worcester, an incredibly sized building as well. So we're now at the Corn Market. We need to head into New Street for our 9th building, which is just along here. Well, in New Street you have this, which is the King Charles pub and inn, which is from this house. King Charles II escaped his enemy after the Battle of Worcester, September 3rd, 1651. But here in New Street, that's not the only item. As well as the King Charles House, which is what it's called, famous, as I say, part of the English Civil War, you also have the Swan, which actually dates from 1550, a few years older than the King Charles House next door. But that still isn't building number 9 here in Worcester. Our 9th building is this one. It's the Pheasant. What an incredible building. One of 3 amazing buildings here in New Street. Look at that. Now, our 10th and final building here in Worcester today isn't the Hive, which I have featured before. It's that behind the multi-storey car park, just sticking up there. And this here is our final building today in the City of Worcester, and it's known affectionately as the Glover's Needle. Requires a little bit of explanation though. At 75 metres high, it's about 245 feet, if you like imperial, it's easily the tallest building here in the city. But how did it come about? I like the church that we saw earlier at St Albans here in Worcester. There was a church here, of course. In fact, you can make out the arches here. And this church was called St Andrew's Church. But again, because of all the slum clearance in the 1920s, the population evaporated, and it was decided in 1949 to suddenly demolish St Andrew's Church because it was no longer required, leaving the spire here. But why the name? The name Glover's Needle was chosen because originally here in the City of Worcester it was a glove making industry that dominated, and because the people of Worcester thought it looked like a giant needle that glove makers would have once used. So that's it for today here on West Country Wanderings, again by the River Severn. Hope you enjoyed the tour of those buildings here in the City of Worcester. I certainly did. Some of them I'd never seen before, and some of them I knew a little bit about, but not the full information. So it was good to do the research and find out a little bit more about those architectural gems that thankfully survived after the brutalities of the destruction of both this city centre and many other city centres with the city planners in the 50s and 60s. But there's still lots here to see and to enjoy. Hope you enjoyed it too. Until next time on the channel, take care of yourselves, look after yourselves, and I hope to see you again soon. All the best for now. Bye bye.